What's up, everyone? It's your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How's everyone doing today? Oh, I'm here. I'm awake ish. I'm alive ish. Sorry, we're running a little behind schedule. I was tired this morning. Didn't go to bed till late. Oh, so I was busy doing shit. All right, so I gotta get all my shit pulled up for this. There we go. All right, so we got a few things we're going to talk about today. Jacksonville sheriff, uh, you know, finally speaks the truth when it comes to guns. There's a little video of his press conference. Um, he basically emphasized that gun communities, what I've been saying for years, that it's not guns themselves that are need to be vilified. It's the person that wields them that needs to be vilified. So we'll see what he says. I haven't listened to it, so fresh reaction. Then afterwards, we got an article: a California school district that transitioned an 11-year-old girl into a male without the parental consent. The mother took the school district court, won $100,000 settlement, and also, by the way, the daughter re-identifies as a girl. So we'll read that article, which, in my opinion, $100,000 is way too fucking cheap. Way too fucking cheap. And then Mitch McConnell has another freezes in it again while talking to reporters. So we'll watch that. And then the Trump campaign is utilizing that Fulton County mugshot to fundraise. So we'll look into that, see how much he's made, or this campaign's made, etc., etc. And then finally, appeals court has dealt a major blow to Michael Avenatti's attempts to reduce his jail sentence. For those who don't remember, Michael Avenatti is the one who represented Stormy Daniels, and then subsequently tried to blackmail Nike afterwards to try and get money. I think it was, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so that's who Michael Avenatti is. Before we continue, well, a shout out to Cody Lane, who started following my channel yesterday. So shout out to you, bud. Appreciate the follow. Hope you're out there watching right now. Speaking of which, might be helpful to get out that pop out. No shit. Pop that out. There we go. No one really ends up chatting. It's okay. Not that at that level yet where I get people who chat with me live. No big deal. But just in case, I've been forgetting the last couple times. Just in case, it happens once in a while. Someone chats something. But yeah, so shout out to Cody Lane. Shout out to all my followers. Got 11 people now on the Rumble with this channel. So I appreciate that. I'm almost at the same level as my YouTube channel, which is also isn't at 11. It's at 12. But it's I'm almost about to match my YouTube, which is cool. It's really cool. Let me see if that's changed recently. Yeah, 12. Yeah, I got 12 subscribers on the YouTubes. So make sure you check me out on YouTube. Subscribe to me there, even if you're on here on Rumble. But hold on, thank you. Oh man, all right. But yeah, follow me on Rumble with Ghost. Here, I'll pull up the link right now. Boom, right there. The link, beautiful. Links in the description as well. Make things easier. Gaming with Ghost. So also, I should probably start putting that link in there. That's the Gaming with Ghost channel. You want to follow me there. Haven't been posting much because I haven't had time for gaming. But check me out there. All right, let's get into it, shall we? All right. So, we'll pop this up. All right, here is the Jacksonville sheriff. Yeah, it's an 8-minute video. We'll see what he says.
There was nothing indicating that he should not own guns.
So then, standing here on the other side of this podium, he possessed these guns legally. We know what he did with them. What could have been done? What should have been done?
Well, we have to stop people that have bad intentions. Guns, the story is always about guns. People are bad. This guy's a bad guy. If I could take my gun off right now and I lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there. But as soon as a wicked person grabs a hold of that handgun and starts shooting people with it, there's the problem. The problem is the individual. Now, guns are a tool that people use to do horrible things, but it's the individuals that wield these things. So we are working hard to try to stop that. But in this situation, in this case, there was nothing illegal about him owning the firearm.
Finally, someone says what we have been saying in the gun community for decades now. I started a thing called Still Waiting on my Instagram page. It was a hashtag called Still Waiting. And what it was supposed to represent was this idea that we need to hold the people responsible for their actions. And the way we don't do that is by treating firearms like they are sentient beings. See, the gun has become a scapegoat for a lot of stupid decisions in our country, especially decisions.
All right, so just want to talk about what he said. So let's bring that back to the sheriff. We'll probably watch the Colin Noir part, see what he says. So let's rewatch that again.
There was nothing indicating that he should not own guns.
So then, standing here.
See, that's the thing is, there's nothing indicating, because you can't really because when someone purchases a gun and everything like that, there's no way to really see into their heart what they're going to do with that. So if there's nothing that would indicate that someone shouldn't own a gun or is going to use that gun for wicked purposes, then you can't really expect anyone to really catch it. Like what this reporter asked afterwards is, well, knowing that he does that, what he ends up doing with the gun, how do we prevent this? Well, you can't prevent it. You can't prevent evil people from doing evil things. And that's the problem that we have right now is instead of blaming the tool, instead of blaming the person, we blame the tool. And this evil person's going to do evil things regardless of what tool he's at. But also, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, should he not own the gun? Yeah, because now we know what he's going to do it. But we didn't. No one knows that at the time. There's no way to look into his mind and are there some indications he might do something bad? Yeah, but there's nothing that ends up verifiable proof that would prevent him from buying and owning a gun, because you are allowed to think the way you think. You're allowed to think the way you think, regardless how wrong it is. And I might disagree with what you think, but you're allowed to think what you want to think. And that's something people are having a hard time understanding. And
on the other side of this podium, he possessed these guns legally. We know what he did with them. What could have been done? What should have been done?
See, that's the problem. It's just what should have been done. Well, there's nothing that could have been done. There's nothing that we could have done to unless he was taken to court and adjudicated mentally defective, been arrested for a crime, like a felony beforehand, or let's see, and I think that's the only way you cannot own a firearm, like a felony conviction and adjudicated mentally defective by a court of law. So there's no way to prevent it. Just because we know now what he was planning on doing doesn't mean that we could go back. Even at the moment, we couldn't know that. So it's a dumb question.
Well, we have to stop people that have bad intentions.
Yeah.
Guns, the story is always about guns. People are bad. This guy's a bad guy. If I could take my gun off right now and I lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there. But as soon as a wicked person grabs a hold of that handgun and starts shooting people with it, there's the problem. The problem is the individual. Now, guns are a tool that people use to do horrible things, but it's the individuals that wield these things. So we are working hard to try to stop that. But in this situation, in this case, there was nothing illegal about him owning the firearm.
Finally, someone says what we have been saying in the gun community for decades now. I started a thing called Still Waiting on my Instagram page. It was a hashtag called Still Waiting. And what it was supposed to represent was this idea that we need to hold the people responsible for their actions. And the way we don't do that is by treating firearms like they are sentient beings. See, the gun has become a scapegoat for a lot of stupid decisions in our country, especially decisions made by our politicians. See, our politicians will go out and pass these policies and
it's also, the gun is used to win political points with people. That's what it really is. Like the demonizing of guns is just a tool to win political points with individuals. That's another thing I hope he touches on, because I would, a lot of these anti-gun politicians are hypocrites. I mean, shocking. Yeah, I know a politician's a hypocrite. I know, really shocking. But what I mean by that is that they're surrounded by armed security with guns themselves, but they want to remove your guns from your ability to protect yourself, because not everyone can, not everyone's able to acquire, bodyguard services.
Pass these laws that enable criminal activity, that enable people to be destructive, that enable people to murder. And then when they actually do these things, instead of looking at the individual who actually engaged in the action, we blame the gun. Someone explain to me how that makes any sense. We don't do that with any tool. We don't do it with hammers. We don't do it with forks. We don't do it with knives. We don't do it with any tool except for firearms. And ironically enough, it just so happens that it is the one tool that enables the American people to be free. So who's pushing this idea that the firearm is this sentient being that we must regulate because there's a person going out and making people kill? If you notice, it's always the politicians. It's always the anti-gun lobby. It's always people who are anti-gun. So like when people say it's not the tool, it's the person using the tool, and you have people who are like, yeah, but the tool lets the person do the thing. Nah, that's bullshit. Because in the same,
yeah, another argument that they get is, well, that tool allows them to harm a lot of people further, a greater number of people. Okay, well, cars kill more people than every day than guns. Why wouldn't they just, if you ban guns, they'll probably just end up running people over with cars. Like, come on.
same breath, you don't give that same ability to the tool in the hands of somebody trying to do good. When somebody saves somebody's life with a firearm, you don't say, look at the good job that gun did there. That gun allowed that person to save lives. But when somebody goes out and murders somebody with the gun, you're like, oh, well, that gun allowed that person to go out there and murder people. If somebody used a gun in a mass shooting, that gun allowed him, that particular gun, that assault weapon, allowed him to go out there and kill all those people. But when somebody uses the same type of gun to save a bunch of people's lives, you don't attribute the same ability to the gun. You don't treat it.
That's true too. Like, good guy with gun. We always make, you always hear that argument. We always make that argument. But yeah, you hear that argument. People make that argument. Sorry, I'm messing myself in here while I'm talking. You don't hear that argument at all. It's never, good guy with gun. It's like, oh, that's a fallacy. Good guy with gun. That's a fallacy. But you always, and that's true. No one says good job for that gun for killing that mass shooter and stopping him from shooting more people. It's always that gun's bad because it allowed someone to kill someone. But you never hear that gun's good because it ended the life of this guy who was trying to murder a bunch of people with his gun. You never hear that. So, that's a good point. I actually never really thought of that. Good point. Not Cully on Noir, which, not surprising that he makes good points.
Like a human. You treat it like a gun. You say, oh, that person saved all of those lives. and you just conveniently forget to mention the firearm. This has nothing to do with them actually believing that the gun is a sentient being. They know the gun isn't a real person. Well, some people, loopies out there, do genuinely treat guns like they're humans. But what this is about is it's a war against the firearm. But it really isn't. It's a war against our ability to be free. And if by any stretch of the imagination, you don't understand how a firearm allows us to continue to be free, you need to open your eyes. You need to read a history book. You need to start looking at the world around you. Notice that it's always the people in power trying to tell you you don't need a firearm. The same type of people who then, when it comes time to implement certain measures, lockdowns, or make you do anything you don't want to do, they're also pushing that too. But they also know that people can only be pushed so far before they say that's enough. But you can only say that's enough if you have something to back it up with. And the people can only back up their "that's enough" statement with their Second Amendment rights. The government understands that. These politicians understand that. Why the vast majority of people don't understand that is beyond me. And the thing is as long as we continue to focus on a firearm as being the problem, more people are going to continue to die. It's just going to make the problem worse. Because when you focus on the firearm and you blame the firearm for the actions of people, you remove the accountability from those people. And when you remove those accountabilities, those people continue to engage in those same actions, whether they use a gun, whether they use a knife, or whatever tool they decide to engage in those actions. So what we don't do is then focus on how do we stop these people by engaging in those actions, from engaging in those actions. No, instead we say, okay, how can we ban all of the guns? How can we take the guns away from people? And then what happens?
Yeah, you ban all the guns, and then what happens? Well, guess what? Then you just get a bunch of knife crimes. You get, people running over people with cars. Like it just ends up, they just shift it and use a different fucking tool.
You end up in a situation where the criminals are still going to criminal, and the people who are just trying to live their lives are going to end up continuously becoming victims. But for some reason, people don't want to accept this common sense. And I get it. Some of it is just fear. They're just scared of firearms. And that's understandable. There are a lot of things that people are scared of. Doesn't make it any less irrational. So here we are in a country filled with over 300 million guns. And you think you're going to ban your way to safety? You think banning firearms is going to somehow stop criminals from engaging in criminality? There's nothing, and I mean nothing, more creative than a criminal mind wanting to kill people. They're going to find a way to do it. If they don't use guns, they'll use bombs. If they use bombs, they'll use knives. It doesn't stop from there. For as long as this world has existed, we have had people who have wanted to take innocent lives. It's always been that way. You're not going to make them go away. And you're not going to be able to neuter a society so much that it's going to make the criminals incapable of doing the very thing that they want to do, which is take innocent lives. So what do? You do what we do on a national and global scale. Our military doesn't, our world doesn't function on the idea of get rid of all the guns and all the weapons, and then any country or any dictator that wants to become tyrannical on a global level will stop doing it because he can't, because he doesn't have the guns. No, you invest in your defenses. You invest in your ability to protect the country. The same way when you're dealing with criminals on a local level, you invest in your ability to protect yourself against those criminals, because those criminals are going to continue to do what they do. So when they do it and they do it to you, you are in a position to stop them, because there's nothing you can do if you give up your gun, but then they still have a gun because they didn't follow the stupid law that you followed that took away your gun. Now you're standing there like, you're not supposed to have that. Criminals like, so what? I do. So we've got to start changing this conversation when it comes to this idea that it's the gun's fault. We need to get rid of the guns. The guns. I get it. Some people just don't like guns because in their minds it represents something that they're scared of or something that they hate or represents violence. So be it. You don't use that same mentality when it comes to things like knives, and knives kill a bunch of people. But no, as a matter of fact, you'll actually use that same knife to go and cut your stupid bagel in the morning for your breakfast and not even think about it, because you don't have any intent on using that knife in a bad manner, which is why I never understood how people could look at a firearm and say, well, I don't want a firearm because I think I'm gonna do something crazy and dangerous with it, but then not have that same mentality with a knife. So this idea that a firearm has this like special human ability to cause people to kill or to walk up and do it itself is childish. It's a childish conversation, and I'm glad that this particular sheriff actually stood up in front of the press and told them that. This is somebody who's at the front lines of this shit. But I guarantee you're not going to see this spread throughout the media. It's not a narrative that they want to push, because if they push that narrative, that means that they have to start addressing the real issues. And they don't want to address the real issues because they either don't know how to deal with it, or they won't have the leverage to utilize these types of situations to ban the thing that they feel gives us too much power. And that is our 2A rights and our ability to own firearms.
Well said, Colleen. Well said. I don't really add anything more to add to that. He kind of said it all, really, right? Like he really just said it all. But that's why, you know, he's a 2A activist. The man knows what he's fucking talking about. Like, fuck no. All right. Yeah, again, you know, it's just really annoying to listen to stuff like this. Not this in particular. This wasn't annoying, but you know, people that are anti-gun and everything. You know, it's always clear they never know what they're talking about, and it's just frustrating. Okay. All right, so let's go on this video. Well, not video, but this news article. This is from the Post Millennial, by the way. All right, so California school district pays out $100,000 to mother after transitioning daughter without consent. And then I guess there's a quote from her: "I'm not going to allow this to keep happening to children." Now, to me, $100,000, that's pretty low. Honestly, that's a pretty low number for transitioning my kid without letting me know. This is why I'm going to not have my kids in public school. All right. A California mom who claimed that her daughter was socially transitioned to act as a boy without parental consent while at school has reached a $100,000 settlement with California School District. The Spreckles Union School District in Monterey County is accused of socially transitioning an 11-year-old student away from her biological gender. Jessica Cohen claims that her daughter, Alicia, who had reportedly been questioning her gender identity, was told by school district that she needs to find out who she truly was inside. She was then socially transitioned away from being a girl and was told to use the boys' restroom and was addressed by male pronouns. Conan, who had not been notified by the school of her daughter's transition, sued the Spreckles Union School District after finding out that Alicia had been identifying as a male while at school. While at school, her daughter has since re-identified as a girl, according to Conan, who was represented by the Center for American Liberty in the suit. Conan slammed the California School District for their actions, told Fox News that this incident lit a fire inside, and she will continue to fight for parental rights. They need to understand their place. They need to stay in their place. And schools nowadays, they're awful. So I'm going to fight this fight and keep fighting this fight. Conan told Fox News, "I'm not going to allow this to keep happening to children." Conan continued, "I feel like that the fight, it has to continue." Excuse me. Mark Trammell, executive director of the Center for American Liberty, told the network, "At its core, this case is about upholding the sacred bond between parent and their children. Parents have an inherent right to be involved in pivotal decisions concerning their children's lives." Conan, a single mother, claimed that her relationship with her daughter had been strained upon initial discovery of Alicia's so-called transitioning, but the two have since made amends and are keen to cooperate in order to eliminate the parental secrecy from schools. "I think it took a lot of guts for both of us to be able to open up publicly and explain what is happening." Conan said, "Parents, be vigilant. Pay attention. Those gut feelings you have, they're real. I feel like this just opened the doors." While the school district has not yet publicly commented on the matter, Conan told Fox News that she's happy with the settlement and feels justified. "We are definitely going to be at peace and be able to try to move on from this. Parents, pay attention. Ask the questions that are offered. put yourself in uncomfortable situations because you don't know what someone's going through. You don't know what they're teaching at school, Conan said. Just be active in your kids' lives. Don't be scared to speak up. California lawmakers have introduced bills that would make it illegal for the state's public schools to out trans identified children to their parents. So there we go. That's the story. This is why it's called California. Look, I think that, this happened in my family. Not exactly, but it's, we have our a niece. My niece has, I guess she's my niece again, but for a while she was identified as some dude, and it's dumb. And it turns out there was a teacher at school that was influencing her, et cetera, et cetera. Not to really get into it because, whatever. It's not my kid, so I can't really do much about it. I can hear my daughter upstairs. She's hilarious. But, this is a problem. This is a big problem. Like school, we need to start showing to schools that they don't get to make these decisions. This is a parent decision, 100%. Like, it's not a kid decision because kids don't know. Like, look, Alicia is a girl. Then she's, look, I think all kids start questioning every aspects of them when they reach the age of puberty, which is, 11 years old, around that time. I think my wife started puberty around 10 or 11. I can't remember. Great for me. Because my daughter probably has that gene. She probably developed it. Anyway, sorry. I'm getting off topic. But, a lot of, kids start questioning everything about themselves. It is what it is. Like, there's never been any issues up until now. Now we're, we get, we put them in that vulnerable state of, questioning who they are and everything about that. Now we get them in that vulnerable state. And then we got fucking activists, because I guaranteed it was a fucking activist that was doing this shit in the schools. And then all of a sudden, oh, hey, they start helping transition kids and they don't notify the parent. Like, what the fuck? You don't get to do that without notifying the parent. Like, I am the one that is responsible legally, morally for my child. So I get to know every single fucking thing about them, whatever it is. And if I disagree, then I get to say no. Okay, if that doesn't uphold with my values, what I'm trying to teach them and instill in them, I get to say no, and they get to listen, and because I have ultimate authority over them. Why do I have ultimate authority? Because I am responsible for them until they are 18 years old. So I have the ultimate authority. I can tell them, say, fuck no. Like, I don't understand this like, it to me, this desire to transition kids without parents knowing it's a huge red flag. Like, anyone who doesn't think that's a red flag, I don't know what your issue is. Like, why is it that schools are working so hard to do this stuff behind parents' back? Why, if this transitioning is so good, is so important, so proper and everything like that, why is it that you got to do it behind people's back? Because it's not. None of this is good. Most kids, if they do this whole transition thing, they go back to their gender during puberty. Like, and look, let's be honest, you can't become a different gender. You are who you are. And instead of encouraging people to accept themselves as who they are, they just want to, people just want to encourage them to mentally run away. And that's just going to end up being harder and harder. I've covered on the show a couple transgender people who regret transitioning. They regret it 100%. And they've gone so far, like they're done the surgeries or they're transitioned and all that stuff, got the testosterone. I've covered a couple videos, couple articles and all that stuff about it. And I think we're going to see more and more of these, because, it's kind of fresh, really. It hasn't been a big thing except in, last couple of years. But I'm willing to bet in a couple of years, we're going to see more and more of these, people. I have regrets. And we're fucking up an entire generation over this lunacy. And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I have no hate in my heart for transgender people. I think they're delusional. I think either delusional or they're trying to, it's a fad they're trying to go with. That's what I think a majority of this transitioning crap is. It's a fad. People want to, be accepted and everything like that. So this transitioning garbage. But I really don't have any hate in my heart for them. I really, honestly, I could care less what they do if they're 18 years old and adult. I really don't care. If you want to be a dude, if you're a chick and you want to go be a dude and you're 18 years old and you want to do all that stuff, good. Go ahead. Do that. Go ahead. Do that. Be who you want to be. That's fine. Whatever. No big deal to me. My problem is when that same person who's free to do whatever they decide they want to do with their lives goes out and tries to force people to accept them for who they are, or not who they are, who they think they are, accept them, for whatever gender they decide to be, accept, force them to, use pronouns and stuff. And then you're trying to assert control over people you have no right to control. So, if you come up to me, you look like a chick with a beard and look like a dude, really. And I call you dude, or, when I'm talking about, you say he, and you're not, you're like, oh, I'm a girl now. Blah, blah, blah. Well, then go fuck yourself. Like, I can use whatever words I want, whether they hurt your feelings or not. Like, there's all these activists of, transgender people, whatever. I think the majority of the problems when it comes to transgender people is they go out and they try to enforce what they believe of themselves onto others. And when you do that, you're just going to end up with people that don't fucking like you. Like if let's say you did do that and you didn't really, you didn't force people to, participate in your delusion. And even if you, it's like, oh, I'm a chick, you'd still use the male bathroom if you still got a penis, or at least at the very least still look like a dude. Because there's a lot of these lazy transgender chicks, dudes. I don't even know like what it is. Like, is a transgender girl a girl that, I think that's a girl that a transgender girl is a dude that thinks he's a girl. That's what I assume what transgender girl is. I really don't understand any of this stuff half the time. I swear to God, because it seems like it changes every day. But if you're a transgender girl and you look like a dude in makeup and a wig, go piss in the boys' bathroom because you look like a dude in a makeup and wig. But if you're, if people come up to you, or if people look at you and think you're a chick, then you can use the girls' bathroom. But they go up to you and think you're a dude, probably should use the boys' bathroom. And I think that's just the good litmus test for this crap. You look like a chick, actually work on it. Like, look, like or I'm watching on Dr. Phil. There's this dude. He has long hair, a beard, makeup, and I think he was like, "Oh, I'm a girl." I think that's what he said. I didn't watch it, so I don't know, but I think that's what it what he ended up saying was a girl. It was the same Dr. Phil or whatever that Matt Walsh was on. And then you got what is her name? Blair White. Like, okay, here we go. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. There we go. Here's actually a perfect side-by-side comparison. What the fuck? Hold on. Sorry. We have perfect side-by-side comparison here. Share screen. All right, so here we go. We got Dylan Mulvaney, the transgender activist who ended up getting Bud Light, canceled. There you go. So we got Dylan Mulvaney and Blair White. So that's Blair White, Dylan Mulvaney. Now, if you look at them, which one's a chick and which one's a dude? Well, I think any logical person would, like, if you don't know that they were transgender, is what I'm saying, obviously. So if you looked at them, which one would you think is a dude? Which one do you think is a girl? Well, obviously, you would think Dylan Mulvaney is a girl or a dude, and Blair White's a girl. They're both dudes, but that's what you would think. Okay? In my lizard brain, stop sharing. Okay. In my lizard brain, if I saw Blair White, I think she's I even said she. I think he's a chick. Okay. I would think he's a chick. I think a lot of people would. Nick Ricada would be like, no, them shoulders, whatever. But that's not the point. But I think a lot of guys would look at Blair White and think that's a girl. And, it wouldn't be strange to see him in the girls' bathroom going to the, taking a piss. Okay. But if you see Dylan Mulvaney, you think that's a dude in a wig, shouldn't be in the girls' bathroom. That's what I'm basically. I went on a tangent. Some of that wasn't really that important, honestly. But this stuff just annoys me. Again, not because I hate transgender people. I really could give like two shits, honestly. Like, I'm a very don't give a fuck person. Do what you do. Be who you want to be. I really don't care. Just don't try to force your beliefs on to other people. It's my problem with those fucking Bible thumpers that are out on the street preaching and shit. It's fucking annoying. I hate those people. I don't really, but I do. It's like I don't really hate transgender people until they start like I don't hate like religious people until they start forcing them their beliefs on other people or act all holier than thou. That's my same response with like transgender people. Like I could care two shits about you until you start forcing your beliefs onto other people. Because guess what? You don't get to be accepted by everyone. If they don't want to accept you, they don't have to. That's what people are having, these people are having an issue with is they think that they should be accepted regardless, but they really don't. Like, just because you want to be accepted doesn't mean you get to be accepted. People want to accept you for whatever delusion you're thinking of. And that's their choice. It's not your choice to force them to do it. All right. So it's that time. What time is it? Well, it's time to talk about something very, very important. And that's coffee brand coffee. Coffee brand coffee is the best type of coffee in the world. Sorry, I have to do an Amazon thing because I remembered. Coffee brand coffee is, obviously a coffee company. I'm an affiliate of that coffee company. I drink it. It is what I am currently drinking right now. Now, obviously, coffee brand coffee sells coffee. I know. I'm surprised. That coffee brand, a place called Coffee Brand Coffee. Sorry, I didn't get an Amazon package. Sorry. All right, sorry. So yeah, sorry, I had to do an Amazon return. Well, not return, refund because I never got it. So yeah, Coffee Brand Coffee. It's the coffee company I choose to drink because it's delicious. Now they got obviously coffee classics, light to dark, some Ethiopian light, double caffeinated, bourbon flavored. But my personal favorite is and always will be, well, so far at least, is French toast flavored coffee. Deliciousness. That is my personal favorite. But again, they have a variety of brands. You can see there's even Rocky Road flavored ice cream. There's cold brew if you like cold brew. Now, if you don't like coffee, well, guess what? There's also tea. You can drink some delicious tea. I assume. I haven't had tea. I don't drink tea. They got classics, Earl Grey, English breakfast, green tea, gunpowder green tea, chamomile, lavender, oolong, organic. But then they got others like apple pie and biscotti, coconut chai. So if you like tea, there's even licorice organic tea. So if you like tea, there's tea if you'd like some tea. Tea. Now, if you don't like coffee or tea, well, guess what? Coffee Brand Coffee still got you covered because fall is coming, which means winter is coming even closer. And that means there's some hot chocolate. I have yet to have their hot chocolate, but I'm sure it's good too. Eventually, I'll order some because it is getting cold and it is almost time for some hot cocoa. But they got 3 types: velvety, rich caramel, and marshmallow. So, and if you're feeling a little snacky, they got snacks. 4 different types of nuts and saltwater taffy. So you have some options here when it comes to Coffee Brand Coffee. Now, Coffee Brand Coffee is unique because it, they hand roast to order. Meaning they don't roast the order until it's. They don't roast the coffee or the particular coffee for that order until it is ordered. So it's as fresh as you could possibly get it without doing it yourself or going to a store that does it. And I don't know any stores that hand roast to order. So it's not anywhere I live. So and it's got like what 4,000 people, nearly a lot of 4-star reviews. It's delicious. And so give it a try. Now, if you're gonna give it a try, I implore you to use this referral link right there. Use that referral link. It gives me some points. Give me some kudos. I'm not gonna do a sponsor without getting a little bit of money inside. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, use this referral code. It's also linked below in the description. So if it's a little easier to copy and paste, I understand. You can also use coupon code GHOST. Both of these will give you 5% off depending on what you use. Now, if you do a subscription, you get 10% off. And I understand 10% is better than 5. But if you want to just try it out one time, coupon code or that referral link, 5%, not too bad. What I was looking for, hold on. But yeah, so if you use the subscription, that's 10% off. Yeah, you can decide how you want to do it every couple weeks, every month, whatever. But yeah, but even if you decide to do a subscription, still use that referral link. It'll give me the kudos I need for the moolah. All right, there we go. No, okay, there we go. All right, so there we go. So here we are. We're going to watch this video of Mitch McConnell, who's frozen during questioning. Now, if you don't remember, a couple of months ago, he had the same thing. He had to be escorted away by senators. So let's watch this. See what happens.
Running for re-election in 2026.
Ferguson.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Gotta have someone to come shout in his ear.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Penny.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Oh yeah, that was the problem. Speaking up, that was the problem. That was the problem. Hey, you need to speak up. He couldn't hear you. That's the problem. Look, Rich McConnell's a Republican. Okay, that's what he is. He's a Republican senator. He's been having these episodes twice so far. Probably might have had him a little further. He just froze. He doesn't say anything. It's not. He just freezes for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on. It's sad. But he needs to resign. He needs to resign, honestly. What is he the senator of? I think Kentucky. Yeah, he's Kentucky. He's and he's a Senate minority leader. No, we can't have this. He's a senator from Kentucky. Yeah. So yeah. So senator from Kentucky. Yeah. So this guy needs to retire. He really needs to retire. This isn't good. Like he just freezes. He this isn't something we need in members of the Senate or Congress. All right. This is why we need to start doing term limits. It would really suck, but it is what it is. I think for term limits, it should be double the president's term limits. So 16 years against the president's 8. I don't know why I think that. I just do. Maybe it's because they end up being they're the ones that are voted by generally their state. So I guess because it's people that are given the power by the people of the state. I don't know. That's why I think so. I think 16 years. It'd probably be good, but yeah, it's not a good look. He just freezes, and Republicans like to give Biden crap. Justly, yeah. You should give Biden crap for his fucking mental defectiveness. But if we're gonna give Biden crap, we gotta give Mitch McConnell crap. This guy needs to be retired, relaxing, home, not this. This isn't good. All right, so there we go. All right, so now we got another article we're going to talk about. Another article. You can hear my daughter. She's making noises. She's a goober. All right, so that's the wrong one. Trump fundraising spikes after Fulton County mugshot surpasses $20 million in August. Trump's campaign says funds will only be used for political campaign activities, not to cover legal expenses. I don't think he's money. Former President Trump has raised more than $9.4 million since being processed and taking a mugshot in Fulton County last week, bringing the Trump campaign's fundraising numbers for the month of August to more than $20 million. Fox News Digital has learned. The former president and current 2024 frontrunner turned himself in last Thursday at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta, Georgia, after being charged out of the district attorney Fannie Willis investigations into his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election in the state. Let's to be noted, Fannie Willis is being investigated, having an investigation probed into her. Trump says taking a mugshot was not a comfortable feeling, especially when you've done nothing wrong. So this is his mugshot. Dude, this guy's mean mugging the fuck out of this photographer. And this is really funny here. Trump's campaign began selling mugshot merchandise following the event, which a source said spiked the fundraising numbers. Dude, hey, hate it or love Trump, he knows how to he knows how to make money. Fox News Digital has learned that 36,000 T-shirts with Trump's historic mugshot printed have been sold, bringing in more than $1.7 million. Look, this was Trump's idea to sell that mugshot. That's something Trump would do. This is his idea. He's like, look, we're gonna get a mugshot done, and on that, and when I get it, I want it. I want the picture. I want that picture, and we're gonna put it on a T-shirt. We're gonna put it on mugs. We're gonna put it on posters, and I want to sell them. Come on, this was his idea. The Trump campaign also sold 24,000 mugshot coffee mugs, bringing in 864,000 and 8,600 mugshot posters, raking in 352,000. The Trump campaign told Fox News Digital that all these funds are earmarked for political and campaign activities and will not be used to cover legal expenses. In an exclusive interview with Fox News Digital last Thursday, after processing, Trump said Georgia officials insisted he have his mugshot taken. He said doing so was not a comfortable feeling, especially when you've done nothing wrong. The fundraiser blitz in August also comes after Trump was indicted out of special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into alleged interference in the 2020 election. Trump pled not guilty to all charges, which include conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct official proceedings, obstruction of or attempt to obstruct an official proceedings, conspiracy against rights. Trump's arraignment is expected to take place in September. He's expected to plead not guilty. Of course, he's not going to plead. He's going to plead not guilty. So there you go. And it looks, if I remember correctly, all this really stems from is a conversation he had, and he's like, "Look, I know there's this amount of votes out there. I want you to find those votes." And I guess what they're trying to imply that he was telling whoever he was talking to, I don't remember, whoever he was talking to, that he needed to manufacture these votes. But what, I guess by the context of the recording, so I think it was over the phone, with the context of the recording or the tone of the recording, it was clear his intentions was you need to find them. You need to locate these votes, not to manufacture. You need to locate the votes. I think that's what this at least this Georgia one is stemming from. So you know what that means. Bullshit. So, all right. So, last thing. Appeals court delivered a major blow to Michael Avenatti's efforts to reduce jail sentences. Now, as I said, Michael Avenatti was Stormy Daniels' attorney, bail attorney. Sorry. It's trying to think. Yeah, so he represented Stormy Daniels, and they lost in a lawsuit against Trump. And then he tried to bribe Nike at some point, or blackmail Nike. He got convicted of that, and it seems like what this sentencing is. So let's get into it. The juries clearly saw the defendant's scheme for what it was, an old-fashioned shakedown, U.S. attorney previously said after Avenatti was convicted. Oh, it was funny, too, with Michael Avenatti. He had all the Democratic news people talking how he's the next president. He's going to be, he's the next officer. He's the hero, the saint, and everything. Dude, and it turns out this dude's like a scumbag, if I remember correctly. All right, disgraced lawyer Michael Avenatti has landed a major legal defeat Wednesday as part of the case he has been convicted of attempting to extort sports apparel brand Nike out of millions of dollars. In a 3-0 decision, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Avenatti's conviction in the case and ruled against his claims that the jurors were not properly instructed in the relevant statute. Appeals are for losers, which is true. The appeals panel also rejected Avenatti's argument that the evidence in this case did not support his charge of exoneration or honest service fraud. Avenatti's sufficient challenge to the extortion counts of conviction failed because the evidence viewed in the light most favorable to the prosecution permitted a reasonable jury to conclude that he had no claim of right to a personal payment for Nike, let alone to a 15 to 25 million payment, the Wednesday opinion stated. Avenatti's advanced several arguments in urge of contrary conclusions. It added, none persuades. Evidence in the case includes bank statements, text message, emails, and witness testimony. In February 2020, a federal jury in New York City convicted Avenatti on 3 counts: extortion, wire fraud, and transmissions of interstate communication with the intent to extort. The jury found that Avenatti, who was in substantial debt at the time of the attempted scheme, illegally tried to have Nike pay him up to $25 million to conduct an investigation of corruption in basketball a year earlier. Today, a unanimous jury found Michael Avenatti guilty of misusing his client's information in an effort to extort tens of millions of dollars from the athletic apparel company Nike, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said at the time. While the defendant may have tried to hide behind legal terms in a suit and tie, the jury clearly saw the defendant's scheme for what it was, an old-fashioned shakedown. And this is Stormy Daniels. Avenatti was ultimately sentenced to 2.5 years in prison and ordered to pay $2,600,000 in restitutions. In addition, Avenatti was also sentenced to 14 years in prison in a separate case in which he was found guilty of stealing settlement funds from clients and failing to pay taxes for a coffee chain he owned. The Associated Press reported. He was... That's hilarious. And he was sentenced last year to 4 years in prison for cheating his former client, adult film star Stormy Daniels, out of $300,000. I will forever be branded disgraced lawyer and worse, Avenatti said after his 4-year sentence in the Daniels case was handed down. This is the same guy that, these fucking pundits of news pundits were like, touting as the next president, the savior that was going to take down the evil orange man. This guy, turns out this guy is just a douche. Oh, that's funny as hell to me. That's really funny. All right, so there we go. That's all I got. That's just funny. Oh man, and he stole from Stormy Daniels. It was a zoo. This is just hilarious. Hey, you hire a scumbag lawyer, you get scumbag actions. I mean, not surprised. It's a good thing, dude. I'll forever be branded as a disgraced lawyer. Well, it's kind of because you're a lawyer that's in disgrace, honestly. So, I get it. I get it. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm sorry. That was even funny to me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me rant about random shit. Make sure you check out my other videos. Make sure you like this video, of course. And follow me on the Rumble. Make sure you follow me at official WGhost on X. That's the best way to find my links whenever I go live. Very helpful. Follow me on Rumble. That's my Rumble channel right there. Link is in the description. remember to use that referral link for Coffee Brand Coffee right there. And this is my Gaming with Ghost channel right there. So follow me there as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, like I said, and I hope you all have a good day. See you later.